To everyone out there that is listening into the Morning Buzz and is awake and risen and shining, good morning. It is Thursday, August 6th. Just to clarify that, because sometimes when I wake up in the morning, dates get mixed up in my head. So grab your adorable mug filled with whatever beverage you prefer and join us for some current MSU updates. Cheetos' new invention. We've also got some more information on TikTok, and according to the Washington Post, we found out more information about the origins of the ammonium nitrate from the Beirut explosion. So more on that. But Sabrina, can you start us off with our latest newscast?
Of course, Kaya. All right, guys. So for local news, more than 200,000 of New Jersey residents still remain with no power after Tuesday's hurricane. According to PSE&G, Orange and Rockland Unity Company, and Jersey Central Power and Light, Morris County, my county, takes the lead with 92,190 residents still without power this morning at 7:45 a.m. According to Phil Murphy, full power restoration will take days instead of hours. A text alert from JCP&L to Morris County residents says they expect power will be restored by Tuesday, August 11th at 11:30 p.m., more than a week since the county lost power. For U.S. news, in Pennsylvania, a Black student attending his high school graduation was forced to take off his Black Lives Matter mask in order to walk across the stage at his own ceremony. At York Catholic High School in York, Pennsylvania, Dean Holmes was told by his school's principal to take off the mask. The school had been chosen to provide every student with a face shield instead of a mask, banning anything with a message on it. Dean told CNN, quote, "Black Lives Matter is a statement that my life matters. It has nothing to do with politics, it's just a basic human rights issue," end quote. All right, for world news. New information is available today on the Beirut explosion that killed over 130 people and injured more than 5,000. Authorities say that the blast occurred when a fire at a warehouse, Hangar 12, on the city's waterfront ignited a cache of ammonium nitrate, an explosive material that has been stored at the site for more than 6 years. The Lebanese government is now facing questions about why the explosive chemicals were stored at the port. For weather, in Randolph, New Jersey, it is currently 68 degrees outside with a high of 80 and a low of 64 with a 30% chance of rain. Today we have 85% of humidity and a sunset at 8:07 p.m.
Thanks, Sabrina. That was wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Stop it. You're making me blush, Kaya.
Of course. I mean, office team right here. Always got to support one another. So cute that you mentioned the sunset, because I think one of the pleasures of summer is that we get to have longer days, which means that we also get to stay out longer and take our afternoon walks, right? Especially when it gets so hot in the daytime that you don't want to be outside, but then 7 hits and you're like, now is my time to go outside and get some air.
Yes, except when there are hurricanes going on, Kaya, like there was 2 days ago.
Yes, and that was brutal. Crystal, do you want to tell us more about the recent aftermath of the tropical storm?
Absolutely. So let me start off by talking about Long Beach Island. So apparently, according to NJ.com, they are without power, as much of New Jersey is, and they might not regain power until 11 p.m. on Saturday. Well, parts of it will not regain power until 11 p.m. on Saturday. That's going to be a couple of days without power. I'm not so sure how they are going to handle. There was other parts, Kaya, but what were they? Can find them right now.
Yes. So, I mean, more circling more back to New Jersey, right? So numerous counties have their statistics on numerous counties and the number of powder outages, according to PSENG. So, which is an Orange and Rockland utility company. So in Bergen County, 76,103 cases of just powder outages. Passaic County, 24,694. Morris County, 91,906.
Yeah, Morris County.
Why are you cheering?
Because we're number one in New Jersey for the most
something.
power outages. Yes.
We're number one in something. And Essex County is 28,725. So a lot of cases, and roughly 977,000 customers recently got their power back, but there's so many other houses out there that still don't have their power. And the worst part is that there's no internet. So Optimum, why are you not answering your customer service calls? Come on, we're calling you out on radio. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about our experiences dealing with the tropical storm, right? So I know that starting off with myself, because I feel like I didn't really have a lot going on, I was very blessed because I didn't even know there was a storm coming until the morning of. My mom was like, make sure to put everything inside, right? Pillows, chairs, anything outdoorsies, keep it inside a house or locked in the shed, preparing. And I was completely fine, right? We saw harsh winds through the window. Trees were kind of going baroque, right? Crazy. And there was moments where my lights started flickering, but really up in Bergen County, at least in my street, we were really blessed and we all have electricity. But Sabrina, do you want to talk a bit more about your experience? Because it was completely different from mine.
Well, mine wasn't the best because we lost power right when the storm started, and I didn't get my power back until last night. But the thing is, when I lose my power, not only do I lose power, obviously, and my Wi-Fi and everything, I also lose water because I have a well water system. So basically, when there's no electric, I can't take a shower. I can't even flush the toilet. It is literally terrible. So being without power in my household, it's pretty traumatic. But honestly, I kind of made the best of it. I remember Tuesday night, I had like my candle set up on my desk. I had like my journal out. I was like writing in my journal for hours because like when it's like it gets dark so early and it's like, what am I going to do with myself if I'm used to going to bed at like 2 a.m. and it's like dark at 8:30? Like, how am I going to spend my time? But I tried to use it to the best of my ability. And thankfully, last night it came back. God bless.
Good. We're glad to hear that. How about you, Crystal?
So for me, yeah, thankfully I didn't lose power for more than 5 minutes, which I was like kind of like mad because I had forgotten my charger elsewhere. So my phone was like on 5%. So I was like, no, I lost power and now I have no charger. It was terrible. But in terms, the only bad thing I guess that happened to me, which is not even that bad compared to any other person's situation, is that you know when the power goes off and then like you have your microwave and your stove set up with the time, and then once like the power goes off, it like
Resets.
Yeah, so basically I have to reprogram it to save the actual time, which is kind of annoying, but again, this is nothing compared to other people who don't have power. So overall it was pretty good. I didn't lose power. I've been safe. Everything's good. Sorry to hear
But
about you,
you lost it for
Sabrina,
a full 5 minutes, you said?
though. It was fine.
Poor Crystal. 5 minutes without power. You poor soul. Because it made me feel like I was in the 1800s, like before we had power and
Okay,
electricity.
Sabrina, relax.
As a film major, I felt inspired by this whole situation. Like, I was like, wow. Yeah, no, I was like, I'm going back in time. Like, this is basically time traveling at its finest.
I think you should gather, remake all of the moments that you spent without power, trying to gain some sort of sanity and distract yourself, keep yourself busy. Put that all into a film, put it into your portfolio, and boom,
I will.
You can be inspired.
I 100% will.
But we have this really interesting video by one of our station members, Laura, who was on a vacation in Wildwood, and this is what she was seeing from her hotel room.
So that just blew off. And that from top. So that just blew off.
Wow. I think it's remarkable that there's still people on the beach.
Power through it all, right, Kaya?
Wow, that's hardcore right there. People are just chilling on the beach. And look at this video right here. I don't know.
There it goes. There it goes.
One of my
Holy
lunches
smokes.
ended up in the middle of the woods.
I really hope that wasn't a testing center. You know, I'm
It could
praying that
be.
I'm praying that wasn't a testing center, because that looked like one. But yeah, literally, because maybe in your part, or depending on your circumstance and how you dealt with the storm and how it was like in your area, the storm was pretty just heavy, and it was rough, and we honestly haven't experienced something like that in some time now, and it really kind of gave us like a wake-up call that we're in hurricane season right now. Yeah, just because you know, we're up in the Northeast, right? We're, in terms of hurricanes, we've been very lucky, right? We're not usually the hard hitting areas, but it is Hurricane Sandy, and not Hurricane Sandy, I'm sorry. It is hurricane season, and just be wary of the locations that are usually more prone to hurricanes, right? And keeping tabs them, like the Florida area and the Caribbean. Make sure that you're just staying woke, as they say. Ew, I'm such a mom. Anyway, but yeah, so and it's also one of the most humid parts of this month. So it's one of the most humid parts of the month. So really, without any power, no electricity, no air conditioning, really, I'm sending out a lot of strength and just blessings to everyone out there that don't have their power on. They're saying that it's supposed to come back on Saturday. Our general manager just received a text from her electric and utility company saying that it's expected to be back on in about 5 days for everyone in the area. So stay strong. We'll get through this, and pray that there's not going to be another hurricane or a tropical storm anytime soon.
It's like it's like the last thing we need right now too, with everything going on in the world.
Exactly. It is one of the last things going on. And let me tell you, 2020 has not been, it's definitely going down in the books, but it's not a positive one.
Yeah.
But moving on to holidays, to keep things a little bit on the lighter topic. So we've got so many weird holidays going on. As usual, you know, America is very famous in that specter. But gotta say that there's one holiday that is called Weird Toes Day, and also Fresh Breath Day as well. I don't know who came up with these holidays, nor who advocated for that, but I just think it's a little strange, don't you think?
I think it is. I wonder, I always want to know, like, where they originated, or where does the idea come from, you know? It intrigues me.
My question is, what defines a weird toe?
I don't know. I think it's like Wrinkle Your Toes Day. It has something to do with toes. But I just don't know why are we celebrating toes?
I mean, I do feel like they are kind of like, what's the word? An underappreciated.
It's Wiggle Your Toes Day. My apologies.
Oh, okay. All
But
right.
you're
Everyone
saying
just
that
take a
toes are
second. I feel like,
underappreciated?
yeah. Like, I mean, we don't really mention them much, you know, like only when you go to like get them painted, you know? I think we should.
I got my nails done yesterday. Sorry.
Crystal.
Nice, Crystal.
I just had to put that out there because it's been like 4 or 5 long months since I've gone a manicure or pedicure, so I just had to put it out there. So although I'm not wiggling my toes, I'm wiggling my
your hands, your fingers. They're like, for all of our audio listeners out there, they're like a nice lighter green, still keeping it on. Oh, it's like a more of a neon light green, still keeping it in the summer colors. Yeah.
All right.
Good. They look awesome. And moving on, so from National Fresh Breath Day also, I mean, I guess it's a day to make sure that you're brushing your teeth and using mouthwash and flossing, right? We don't want any coffee breaths going around, right? Want to keep it nice and sanitary, right?
I do have to say that the one thing I do appreciate about wearing the masks for is that I don't have to worry about my breath ever smelling bad, because like you won't smell it with the mask.
Sabrina!
No, it's just like, you know, because I'm always super conscious about my breath. So like, I still have clean breath, don't get me wrong. It's just I don't have to like stress about it now, you know, because I have the mask on. So I'm set. We're all set. It's great.
Right. And you're the only one that's going to smell your own breath, right? That finally.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to be too self-conscious about it. But yeah, on top of that, it's also, it's you know, on top of that also, we've got another holiday that's celebrated in El Salvador as well. It's called the holiday of San Salvador, which is basically celebrating Jesus, right? And his birth and his effect on the world as him being the savior of the world. And fun fact, El Salvador is literally named after Jesus. I think the San Salvador part, so savior, refers to Jesus being the savior of the world. Isn't that so cool?
It is cool.
I think... I'm not sure.
I
don't want to say.
Crystal, our
Crystal
Latina
wants
here,
to fight.
is Crystal.
She's
our
like,
Latina
I've
here
missed the
is,
battles between me and Sabrina. She's like, let's go.
Okay, so I am not from El Salvador, but as someone who is Hispanic,
yes.
I don't think that San Salvador is their Jesus, but rather a saint that they like pray to, and occasionally like set up a candle for them, make us like a little prayer. So I think that's it. Just because I don't want to confuse our audience, but again, I am not 100%, but I'm like 90% confident that it's a San Salvador. It's like basically a saint that they appreciate. And I think I know Christians don't believe in this, but Catholic people do, that they pray to saints. And then we'll leave it at that.
No, thank you. Obviously, I picked up the story and the holiday from a website. So that was kind of like the summary of it. But we're always looking into finding more information and making sure that our information is factual. And our general manager actually gave us some more information about the holiday itself. So, and the country. So the country was named after the Spanish word of the Savior in honor of Jesus Christ. The capital, San Salvador, is the largest city in Central America with a population about 2.2 million, so fact checked. So in terms of the country being named after the savior of the world, Jesus Christ, it's true, but always looking into finding more information about holidays. Thank you, Crystal.
Absolutely. I just see, and
you just got fact checked by a Latina. Good. Thank you. We needed that.
But what else are we celebrating? Well, not, I don't want to say celebrating, but what other anniversary is today? Kaya, tell us.
Well, before we actually get into that, there's also I think Jamaica is celebrating their Independence Day as well. So go Jamaica. And another very historical important event, this is moving into more serious matters, is the 75th anniversary of the world's first atomic attack. So today marks the anniversary of the first atomic bomb event in history, when the United States dropped a lethal nuclear weapon on the city of Hiroshima. Survivors and Japanese descendants continue to urge their government to ban nuclear weapons in remembrance of this horrific event. The Japanese government refuses to sign a nuclear weapons ban treaty till this day. And a lot of survivors and Japanese citizens are coming together in unity to try to spread more awareness on the fact that the treaty has not been signed within the government. So many bombing survivors have passed away along the years, with the average age of survivors being about 83 years old in terms of their lifespan. The blast that occurred at 8:15 a.m. this very day was commemorated with a minute of silence by survivors, relatives, and political officials together at gathering at Hiroshima's Peace Park. On August 6th, 1945, 140,000 people were killed in Hiroshima, and just 3 days later, US dropped a second bomb in Nagasaki, killing another 70,000 people. Japan surrendered on August 15th, ending the World War II. 6 members of the survivors group confronted the prime minister of Japan over the treaty and literally said to the prime minister, could you please respond to a request to sign the nuclear weapons prohibition treaty? Who was said by Mimaki, a member of a major survivors group. And he also continued to say, quote, the milestone 75th anniversary of the atomic bombing is a chance to change course. The prime minister responded by saying that he would like to take a different approach rather than signing the treaty itself to help eliminate nuclear weapons in Japan. And another survivor of the name of Manabu responded to the prime minister's response, saying his actions don't match his words. And Japan apparently sides with the United States in terms of eliminating nuclear weapons, but there has been just no movement in terms of signing the treaty. And a lot of survivors are taking offense to this, saying that the country is not representing and not standing by, the good of humanity by not eliminating nuclear weapons. So this is a very, very important historical event, but also a very important political matter as well, right? And a safety matter. So what do you guys think?
I mean, absolutely. I feel like this is one of the things in history. We used to go to history class, and like as in elementary school, grammar school, like you would listen to history, you'd be like, yeah, like it's interesting. But at least personally, to me, like a lot of the events weren't like, oh my God, super interesting. But this event was definitely one that just captivated my attention because it just blew my mind how many people died, like how something like this can occur. And how like what would happen if this were to happen like today, and like it just scares me, but it's definitely something that always caught my attention.
Yeah, same with me, Crystal. I'm not a huge history, well, at least when I was younger, I was not a huge history person, and this is one of the few things that actually stood out to me because it was so horrific in a terrible way. But yeah, it's definitely something to learn from and hopefully never repeat. But
right, and then the question is kind of like, for all those who are wondering why Hiroshima was chosen as the target. Well, Hiroshima was a major Japanese military hub with factories, military bases, and ammunition facilities. Historians say that the United States picked it as a suitable target because of its size and landscape, and carefully avoided fire bombings to bombing the city ahead of time so American officials could accurately assess the impact of the atomic attack. The United States said that the bombings hastened Japan's surrender and prevented the need for a U.S. invasion of Japan. Some historians today say Japan was already close to surrendering, but there is still debate in the U.S. That's crazy. So then the next question would be like, what effects did radiation have? Many people exposed to radiation develop symptoms such as vomiting and hair loss. Most of those with severe radiation symptoms died within 3 to 6 weeks. Others who lived beyond that developed health problems related to burns and radiation-induced cancers and other illnesses. Survivors have a higher risk of developing cataracts and cancer. This makes me sad.
And I was actually, when I was doing more research about the anniversary today, I found an article talking about just focusing on one Hiroshima survivor And this person was talking about how throughout his entire life, he's been shadowed by just a team of doctors checking up on his health, interviewing him, and trying to see just more related long-term effects of nuclear weapons, right? And how it affects us health-wise. So I think that is also a very important fact to really consider, is that there is still more research that is being conducted on willing Hiroshima and Nagasaki survivors. And I'm in my personal opinion, I really hope that all of the survivors out there are giving the platform and are being heard, right? And that all of these new foundings and studies in terms of health risks are going to be used, right? And it's going to show and exhibit just how lethal these atomic bombs and nuclear weapons are. It's no joke. This is many years after, 75 years later, and the health risks are still present. And right here are the photos of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You can see that, just how you see the explosion itself, then the aftermath of pretty much an entire city being wiped away, and then people wearing just masks at the time, and umbrellas, right? I guess in terms of if there's any debris that's falling from the sky, or masks in terms of protecting yourself from hazardous smoke and toxic inhalation. So it's a really horrific event that happened, but it's also a very important historical event that happened as well, that we, of our generation, we need to be informed of, and we need to keep fresh in our minds, because we can use this, and for anyone that believes in this, to fight nuclear weapons in the future.
Absolutely. And I feel like the picture on the left with the big cloud, it just I feel like gives you like a visual of what a huge, explosion or this.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Just see the image of the mushroom cloud is insane. All of these images really, it shows just how recent this was also, and just how intimidating everything looks, right? From our perspective as just children years after born after this, and looking upon an event that happened 70 years ago. Look at that, just how big that atomic bomb is. It was nicknamed Little Boy. And this was the prototype of the bomb that was dropped by the US military. And you see a B-29 plane, which actually dropped the atomic bomb from, and just the ruins, right? Just the damage that you see. Everything is pretty much wiped out. A very important event that still continues to be commemorated by the Japanese, and should be commemorated worldwide. An important event that affects both the US and Japan as well. And we want to move on to another important event that just happened very recently in Beirut of Lebanon. They're saying that now there's a troubled and leaky ship is linked to the whole event itself. Where did the ammonium nitrate come from? Specifically, where were the origins? And it all happened about 6 years ago. So just before we kind of get into that, this morning new information is available on the explosive that rocked. So Beirut was rocked by an explosion felt as far as 150 miles away in Cyprus on Tuesday. The force of the blast did tremendous damage to surrounding neighborhoods and nearby buildings, tearing off balconies and shattering windows. It blanketed the city in debris and ash for miles around. So the question is, what caused the explosion in Beirut? Authorities say the blast occurred when a fire at a warehouse on the city's waterfront ignited a cache of ammonium nitrate, an explosive material that has been stored at the site for more than 6 years. Ammonium nitrate is a chemical compound most commonly used in fertilizers. It is also used to make explosive and was used in the Oklahoma City bombing in 1995. So, who is responsible for this explosion? The Lebanese government is now facing questions about why the explosive chemicals were stored at the port in the first place. Lebanese authorities say the explosive originally entered Beirut's port on board a ship bound for Georgia in 2013. According to shiparrest.com, a shipping industry newsletter said in 2015 said that the vessel, which was carrying 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate, was forced to dock in 2013 in Beirut due to technical problems. Its owners later abandoned it there. Local authorities transferred the explosives to a warehouse in the port and were meant to dispose of them safely, according to the newsletter, but they never did. Officials at the port were placed under house arrest as investigators continued their inquiry. So reading this article recently posted by the New York Times yesterday at August 5th and updated today at 4:46 a.m., we're finding out more information about this ship itself and just how before the explosives were actually moved from the ship to the warehouse and why the ship ended up docking in the port in the first place. So Mr. Prokoshev, the captain, joined the ship in Turkey after a mutiny over unpaid wages by previous crew. Mr. Grashushkin had been paid $1 million to transport the ammonium nitrate, which again is mixed with fuel, creates a powerful explosive commonly used in construction and mining, to the port of Beira in Mozambique, the captain said. The ammonium nitrate was purchased by the International Bank of Mozambique, a firm that also makes commercial explosives itself. But as the ship was gearing towards Turkey, unfortunately, they had to stop in Beirut because they needed to make some extra cash docking in the port due to technical difficulties and such. But the ship actually ended up staying in Beirut for some time, and it was involved in some debt schemes, right? They weren't able to pay off some debts, and there was complications in terms of finance. And this ammonium nitrate was in the ship during this time, and it was docked in the ship with over 2,750 tons of it. But at one point, there was just crew members that were actually stuck on the ship during this time, as the Lebanese and government and the port officials were trying to figure out how the ship owner could actually pay for those debt issues. And 6 of the crew members were actually returned home, but Lebanese officials forced the captain and 3 Ukrainian crew members to remain on board until the issue was resolved. The Lebanese immigration restrictions prevented the crew from leaving the ship, and they struggled to obtain food and supplies, according to their lawyers. But eventually the port officials took pity in the hungry crew and started feeding them. Their flight attracted attention back in Ukraine, where news accounts described the stranded crew as hostages trapped aboard an abandoned ship. A Lebanese judge ordered the release of the crew on compassionate grounds in August 2014, and Mr. Grashushkin, who is the owner of the ship, paid for their passage back to Ukraine. The Lebanese officials found the ship unseaworthy and failing of the owner to pay for the port docking fees and other charges. And eventually, with over $60,000 just in wages, Mr. Grashushkin was placed at fault with Lebanese officials, who first insisted on impounding the boat and then keeping the ammonium nitrate in the port as well. And the owner of the ship actually responded to just the whole debacle of the debt issues and just the conflict between the officials and the ship itself, and saying that the fertilizer, the ammonium nitrate, should have been used to fertilize crops rather than stocked, and stayed at the warehouse in the port itself. And just more recent news on the ship itself. So it ended up sinking in around 2015, 2016. And that was kind of the end of the story of the ship itself. But the fact that the ammonium nitrate was transferred to a warehouse and stayed there without any repercussion or any investigation is just, in my personal opinion, a very irresponsible act. So I thought that by bringing about this article, we would learn some more background information about where the ammonium nitrate came from in the first place, right? It came from this ship that was already dealing with so many financial conflicts, and then it was transferred to a warehouse without just kind of like careless thinking, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, Kaya. But when I first read this story and I saw the video, I was very like shocked, right? But then I saw someone from my Instagram following made this picture that kind of put into perspective. I wish I would have sent it so we could have seen it, but it basically shows how far the explosion went out from the main point, and it just really puts it in perspective. So basically what they did so I live in Hudson County, right? And the explosion was so far out that it affected, it took over Hudson River and then parts of New York City and all the way up to Newark. And Newark is in Essex County. So just to put it in perspective, at least to put it in perspective for myself, I was really shocked to see how far out it had affected people. So
you're saying that the image basically it took the area of where the explosion reached and kind of photoshopped it into where we live, right, back in the tri-state area, and just see like how far it went, and say if it happened to us, right?
yes.
Being New York City being the like where it would be the epicenter.
Yeah, so I live like 10 minutes away from the city, from like New York City. So basically it would be all of the what is it called? What's the tunnel called?
The
Lincoln Tunnel.
Lincoln
right?
Tunnel, sure.
Yes. So it would have taken all of Lincoln Tunnel, New York City, which is like Times Square, and all the way up to like Newark, with like Rutgers is, and NJIT is at. So all that area. And to me, like, it's something different when people put into perspective with stuff that actually, I guess, affects you or you can actually relate to, right? Because, for me, I've never been to Lebanon, so it's just hard for me to picture how far out. But when it's just a number, right? But when you see it, it's so much clearer. But I do hope that, they can get better.
Yes, Sabrina, sorry.
The whole story is just very interesting, but almost like, I don't know, it just like almost doesn't add up in my opinion. Like it's kind of like a little, I want to say sketchy. Like it just doesn't feel like it makes sense.
Like what parts of it do you feel like is sketchy?
The
or
part
feels
where
sketchy to you?
That the I don't know, I forget how to say it, the something nitrate was stuck in the warehouse for so long.
Yes.
Like as you said before, like why was it there for so many years? Like it doesn't even make sense, like if they were going to use it, why didn't they bring it to that location? Like why was it just waiting there? And that's not something that should just be sitting around. It's clearly extremely dangerous and killed many people. It just doesn't add up in my head.
I think we can even take it further back to when the ammonium nitrate was still on the ship itself, right? Yeah. And there, the ship there was docked, and there were crew members, and the captain was literally stuck on the ship. And bizarre. It is bizarre, and it was due to the ruling of the Lebanese political officials, right? And why is it during that time the nitrate was still docked on it was in the ship itself with the crew members on it, and why wasn't it handled in a more safer and responsible way is a question that we may never find an answer to. But from my personal opinion, I hope that the consequences are set, right, to anyone responsible for this, and the Lebanese port officials and their department take this as an example to make sure that they ensure or enforce more just strict guidelines and protocols to ensure that this never happens again, right?
I stand.
We stand. So really, we're sending out a lot of strength and just our blessings to everyone out there in Lebanon that was directly affected, because just being a social media user and just seeing the people recording the explosion, right, and them being like, you just see like a cloud of smoke, and then out of nowhere you just see like this mushroom cloud and just like this fire, and then you usually see the person that's recording the video kind of jump back because of the force itself. So really hope that those that were recording the videos that actually gave us more of just an illustration of what happened itself are okay, and that hopefully Lebanon will slowly piece itself back together after that. But really just a traumatic event, and yeah.
I agree. But moving on to another story that has been creating lots and lots of buzz this week is TikTok. TikTok announces first data center in Europe. This comes after President Trump announced his plans on banning TikTok in the US, unless it's sold to an American company. TikTok said that the forthcoming data center, which will be located in Ireland and will store the data of its European users once it's up and running, which is expected by early 2022. The announcement of TikTok data center in the EU also follows a landmark ruling by Europe's top court last month that puts international data transfers in the spotlight, tying up the legal risk around processing data outside the bloc. Quote, the investment in Ireland will create hundreds of new jobs and play a key role in further strengthening the safeguarding and protection of TikTok users' data, which a state-of-the-art physical and network security defense system planned around this new operation, end quote. Roland Cloutier from Global CISO wrote, adding that the regional data center will have the added boon for European users of faster load times, improving the overall experience of using the app. Sabrina, I want to know your opinion on this, since you're Miss
I
TikTok
just
went
want to say,
viral.
when I heard that TikTok might be getting banned, my heart like stopped, because TikTok is, okay, I don't want to say my everything because my life does not revolve around TikTok, but
Or it does.
it has had an immense impact on my daily life, especially during the quarantine and this past summer. I feel it's been popular, like had more people on it more than ever, especially because of the quarantine, because people couldn't go out, so they were staying home on TikTok. And just the thought that it was suddenly going to be taken away from us was kind of a saddening thought, because like most teenagers, or even younger than teenagers, a lot of younger kids use TikTok, and they spend maybe like an hour on it every single day, just like laughing and enjoying these little TikToks and making them, and they're fun. I've never made a TikTok.
But security has always kind of been an issue with TikTok, but I'm just, from my personal experience, I'm just trying to figure out, why has it been just such a focus to President Trump, right? Why is he all of a sudden so, you know what I mean? Like, also so interested in the platform itself, and just convinced that, the data that is being taken from users here is sort of just benefiting the Chinese government. And I don't know, with everything else going on right now, and I feel like, are there any proven statistics that this is being done by the Chinese government? I mean, is there any documentation of it?
I'm not sure, Kaya. I can't say, but I know what you're saying, because it's like, with all these other problems going on in the world right now, why is TikTok on the top of President Trump's list? I don't know. And I know a lot of, like, there have been some like TikTok users who have posted videos saying like, oh, like, honestly, like, I don't even care if like the Chinese government has my information. Like, I just don't want TikTok to be taken away from me, which I do believe is a bold statement, but I kind of understand from their point of view that this is like a huge part of some people's lives. Like, this is what they do. This is how they became famous, how they're like known to the world, and to have that all threatened away from them, to be taken away from them, is a scary thought. But
So
yeah.
the allegations that are being made in terms of like the privacy issues and what exactly the Chinese government or the app runners of TikTok could be doing is that while the app runs in your background, right? So like on your phone, you have the option to like, swipe up and, obviously you have apps that are opened at the same time, meaning that the apps are currently being run in your background because you never actually took them off, right? So if they're in your gallery, that means they're still running right now, and ready for you to go back on to use it again. And so when that happens, the app supposedly is monitoring your keyboard. They're monitoring everything, your access to passwords. And we know that the regulations and rules are more strict in the US compared to China, because obviously we want to protect the privacy of the users. And I personally believe it's a very important regulation and law that we have here that I could say that I'm proud of, because privacy is something that we all have a right to. But due to the fact that those rules and regulations are not implemented in the same way as here, and the fact that they are app runners, and when you agree to terms and conditions, right, you could be signing away a lot of your privacy without really knowing it, right? There could be a sentence, a very tiny and small font sentence that says, all rules and regulations in the US don't apply here. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily true, but it could be, whoever read, and if whoever is watching right now read the complete terms and conditions and found something suggesting that, please type it in the comments below, because we are so interested to find out more about that. And also, Sabrina, tell us more about the Microsoft and how it's playing a role in this whole debacle right now.
Well, basically, Trump is giving TikTok 45 days to get transferred over to a US run. I believe that he wants it to be run by someone in the US that's reliable and that he can trust. And I heard that Microsoft is talking about purchasing TikTok in order to make it available for people in the United States to use.
Yeah, Microsoft actually did confirm it, that they are, in the midst of the talk and dealing, but as Sabrina said, nothing is set in stone as of yet.
So come on, Microsoft, do your thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason I feel like, I remember when I first found out that, well, actually, it was kind of a joke. I don't know who it was in the station, but they actually looked at Sabrina's TikTok profile, and I think you have one video that has over 100,000 views or likes on it. Mm-hmm. And they were mentioning it, and they were like, oh my God, Sabrina's like this TikTok star. So, I mean, tell us more about that video and what you were doing in that video specifically, because I feel like that video might have been your inspiration to continue posting more videos, right?
Yeah, it definitely was. It was just a video that me and my my roommate and my suite mate made, joking around in my dorm one day at Montclair, just talking. There's like this music in the background, and basically we're like, oh, like girls just having a spa night, and we had our face masks on, and we're just like all happy and together. And then we hear a knock at the door, so we go to the door, and I look through the peephole, and then the music goes like really like static, and it's like it's like a screaming kind of sound. And it's like, when I looked through the door, I saw a hot boy standing there. So then we're like running around, like all stressed out, because now we look like a mess with our face masks on and really super not our best. And yeah, that's basically it. But
honestly, when I watched it, I thought it was super funny. And I feel like from like a TikToker's perspective, how did you, like, do you feel like that inspired you to do more, like that natural high of just like seeing that there's so many people that are recognizing your video, and it just kind of gives you more motivation to do more, to continue that viewership and attracting more people to your profile?
For sure. And I feel like that's with anything, if you get that support, that, oh, like you did a really good job on that, it makes you want to do it more, because when you're good at something, you usually like to do it, or you get that recognition for it, it makes you want to do it more. And that's how I felt, always trying to like one up that one video, which I've yet to do, but I've come close, so.
So Sabrina has a glimpse of what it might be like with being a famous TikToker like Charlie D'Amelio and Addison Rae.
Yes.
But staying on the topic of TikTok, I mean, TikTok has been like in the major headlines recently, but Instagram is like, hey, no, we were the original OGs here. We are the ones that transformed the social media platform. We took away all of the newbies and like the newer generations and stole them from Facebook to our platform. And we intend to do the same thing with TikTok as well. And I think it's really funny because Instagram story is, if you really take a look at it, it's a mimic of Snapchat, right? And in terms of Instagram story, I feel like they've been very successful with that. A lot of people have been using stories. When I do go on my Instagram profile, I always see people posting through it. I don't know if, I don't know if I could say that it's more successful than Snapchat in that feature, but it's definitely taking it and utilized it in their platform. But Instagram is coming out with a new app. So it's not on the Instagram app itself. It's going to be a different app called Reel. And it allows you to create short form videos to music, just like TikTok. And that could be shared with friends and followers as well. The videos are about 15 seconds long, and you can use a different array of filters and music on top of that. It's kind of insane. They're also going to have a For You page, which is similar to TikTok's. And
at least they call it something different.
Yeah, I mean, it says it's Real, right? So that's the name of the app itself.
But like the For You page, like that whole idea.
No, it's like a feature. It's not the actual name of the thing. Yeah, it's kind of, but it's literally a mimic of the For You page. They're just doing that, right? Like the recommendations. And the one thing about Reel is that there's both private and public options available. So if a user is like, no, I want to keep my videos private to myself, my family and friends, they have the option of doing that. So any of their friends, any of their family that are just linked to their account, if they accept them, then they're able to post, private videos, and they also can have public at the same time, which is a feature that TikTok doesn't have. So I feel like Instagram.
That is false. You could do that on TikTok.
You could do that too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Because I'm not a TikTok user, so like to me it's like, I don't know. But in terms, like, you can add friends and stuff as well.
Yeah, like when you post on TikTok, each video could either be fully public, or it could be just for your friends, or it could just be just for yourself, so just private. So you have those three options for every video you post on TikTok.
So Instagram is copying everything. I thought they were coming out here with a new feature and everything, and Sabrina's like, nope, that's not true. But yeah, so it's kind of crazy. Like, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more new influencers coming out just to see how crazy everything got with. And I feel like the TikTok stars are so insanely popular, even more popular than the Vine stars, right? Even more popular than not MySpace. Musical.ly, that's what I was trying to think of, yeah.
I was like, who even were the Musical.ly stars? Like, I only remember, because Musical.ly wasn't cool. Like, when it first came out, it was kind of like, like, what is this? Like, it's just a copy of Vine, and like, I felt like that never reached its peak, for sure, like TikTok has. Like, TikTok, this has been like
their
crazy.
marketing promotional strategy is insane. And I feel like till this day, it, like, if you're not really researching it, or if you're not a part of it yourself, you can't find out how they did it, but the fact that they did it is insane. And I hope to see some documentary on like just how the rise of TikTok. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that this is really interesting that they're coming out with this app in the midst of all these problems happening with TikTok right now. Like, is Instagram taking advantage of the weakness, you know what I mean, of TikTok's weakness, of them being like completely banned in the US?
Would you really be surprised if they were?
Yeah.
When you deal with business, that's all about it. Like, people say, oh, you're copying, you're stealing ideas, but
And how do you feel about the fact that they're like having a different app and they're naming it something different? Like, it's not Instagram something, right? Because the first feature was Instagram Story, right? So it was affiliated, on the app, and it kind of had the same name. But the fact that it's owned by Instagram, but it's a completely different app. And I guess they're kind of trying to market it as their own like social media platform, owned by Instagram rather than like an Instagram feature.
Mm-hmm. This is hard for me.
So
You go, Crystal.
I was just gonna say, so wait, you're saying that the reels, because I'm on social media, but to be honest, all these new apps, I don't be following along with them. But are reels like going to be a separate app, or is it gonna be? Oh, see,
Yeah, it's gonna be a completely separate app. Yeah,
that's too much work to download.
Yeah.
Get more space on my phone. Download the app. Get familiarized with the app.
As social media users yourselves, right? Would you consider downloading Reel?
Well, it's hard to say. Like let's say we
Like,
do
say
lose
you don't-
TikTok. If TikTok does get banned, I will consider getting Reels. But if it does not get banned, I'm staying with my TikTok, the OG. Why would I give in to Instagram when Instagram is already so popular? It kind of makes me feel like, why are they trying to steal more business? You know, like you already tried to take away some of Snapchat's users, and this what made Snapchat so special by adding it onto Instagram, and now you're trying to like take that same fame away from TikTok.
And also you've got the WhatsApp application. Also, they're constantly coming around with different inventions, right? And speaking of new inventions, I think a really cute thing that we can leave off with is Cheetos' new invention, their mac and cheese products. They look pretty amazing. So you're taking these cheesy, crunchy snacks and literally putting into a box of a mac and cheese. So you've got different flavors that they're coming out with. So they've got the Cheetos mac and cheese bold and cheesy. So I'm assuming like that's the original flavor itself. Sorry, there's like this truck outside of my house. Ooh, hopefully that helped. Okay. And the next flavor, which is my personal favorite, I'm so excited, is the cheesy jalapeno. I could never find those bags in the stores, but the cheesy jalapeno just looks so amazing, and that's going to be in its own mac and cheese product. And then also they're coming out with the flaming hot mac and cheese, and that is it's red noodles. Do you not see that? They're like red macaronis. That's so crazy.
They don't look that appetizing to me.
They really don't.
You know what? Okay, the red ones don't look that appetizing, but because I am a cheesy jalapeno fan, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try it.
I'll try it just to say I tried it and see if it was good. But personally, I'm not a fan of Cheetos.
They should have put us in the Cheetos focus group of like, when they were testing out the products. Crystal would have came in there and be like, see, I'm not really feeling it. And it'd be like, no gift card for you, Crystal.
Seriously.
Tell us, why are you not feeling it though?
No, but to be honest, mine are biased opinions because I just feel like this has nothing to do with like the new mac and cheese product, but just on a very short and side note is that I just feel like people have been associating like Cheetos with specifically like the Mexican culture, and I'm Mexican, right? And it's like that's not even, we don't even eat eat Cheetos. Like just because they're spicy doesn't mean it's automatically like Mexican or something. But that's just on a different note, which is why I'm like
kill stereotypes, kill ethnic stereotypes. They're lame.
I guess I am. Overall, if I put that little thought of mine aside, I guess I am looking forward to just trying it. I want to see what it's all about. I want to see if they did a good job in, making these. So I am excited.
And so do you think Cheetos is going after the Kraft's bread and butter product because they recently announced that they're going after like the breakfast market? Are they trying to like dip their claws into like a different, more like, I guess, what are those snacks called? Like a boil, snacks, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Guys, help me out here. Come on. You know what those snacks are. Whatever.
I don't know.
Whatever. You know what I mean? Like those, almost to go meals, right? That made no sense, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But speaking of breakfast in the breakfast market, we want to eat some breakfast. So we're deucing out, and tune in tomorrow for the best of the week of the Morning Buzz. Minus a Wednesday show, which got blown away by ISS. Did I say it correctly?
Yes.
SAS, thank you. And we will be back next week. Stay tuned with our lady crew for next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.